this morning, we come before you because we recognize that you are the God, the only one who created heaven and earth, who created us. And as soon as we departed from you, you were able to come and seek for us and save us. Thank you so much for the Lord Jesus, for the Holy Spirit, for the angels that are all together working so hard to save us. Dear Heavenly Father, help us to recognize that we need you. Help us to recognize that without you we can't do nothing. Heavenly Father, help us to love you more. Help us to give our life to you. Thank you, because I know you will do that. Thank you, because even though we don't see the battle that is going on, we know, we trust in you, and you are the victorious one, and you're going to lead us to come closer to you. Help us to believe. Help us to be closer. Help us to continue committing our life to you. Dear Heavenly Father, do you know what is going around? Do you know that a lot of people is scared, fearful, that something is happening in this planet and they don't know how to overcome that? But thanks God, thanks to you, thanks to the Lord Jesus, we know that you have given us the victory. And according to your word in the Bible, it says, fear not, rejoice, because all power has been given to me, said the Lord Jesus. So that's why we come to you, before you, dear Heavenly Father, to be blessed, to be forgiven, and to thank you for all the good things you are doing in our life. Dear Heavenly Father, you know everyone here, all the family members, all the struggles, all the situations that we are facing. You know the people in this island, in this country, and the whole world. You know our family members that are not close to us right now. We make the humble request to go and bless them. And if one is sick, just say the word to your Heavenly Father, and they're going to be healed. Father, today we're going to present before you our brother Peter. Anoint him with the Holy Spirit. And help us to open our minds, to listen to your word, that God will help us to come closer to you. Father, bless the pastor and his family. Bless the whole church. Bless those who didn't come to the church today, and help them to believe, not to get discouraged. Father, we need you all the time, because all the time you are good, and you are good all the time. We believe you, we love you, and we worship you because you deserve it. Thank you for everything. In Jesus' name, our Lord, we pray. Amen.
Be thou my wisdom, and thou my true word. I am with thee, and thou with me, Lord. Thou my great Father, and I thy true Son. Thou in me dwelling, and I with thee walk. Be thou my battle shield, sword for the fight. Be thou my dignity, thou my delight, thou my soul's shelter, and thou high tower. Raise thou me heavenward, O mind of my God. Riches I need not, no man's heaven's empty praise, thou mine inheritance now and always, thou and thou only first in my heart, our King of heaven, my treasure thou art. Our King of heaven, my victory won, may I reach heaven's joys, oh bright heaven's sun. Heart of my own heart, whatever befalls, still be my vision, oh ruler of all. Thanks, God bless you.
I'm a veterinarian by training, and heart is really an amazing organ. And if there's one animal that I know has one of the biggest heart, is one of the tallest animal. Which animal is that? A giraffe. You can imagine pumping blood to the farthest part of the body, which is the head. And God, I think, is just amazing. You'll never understand Him. The last time I actually shared a sermon like today, more than 10 years ago. That does not mean I've presented before people. I've shared a lot before people by virtue of what I do. But I think this is a special moment for me.
Amen.
And so when you see me trembling, just pray for me, because that would be moments to gather some courage. And I want to remind those of us who may have never shared, when Brother Ramon came to me, I'm always no easy person to accept, even when I'm not sure what to do next. Especially with sermon on sharing, I'm not good with teaching the lesson, but when it comes to sharing, I always feel that the person who should share is the one who needs Christ most. And I think I'm that type. And so I always use that opportunity that if God wants to use me to share His word, maybe He wants me to understand Him more. So when you are approached, please heed to the call. You're very lucky because one, at least I'm a bit fluent in what I speak. Moses was a stammerer. So just in case you miss me or you don't get me well, just know that you are lucky I'm not a stammerer, because you wouldn't get me either. When I was coming from, I'm originally from Kenya, and when I was flying from Nairobi, one thing that I packed in my suitcase was this coat here. And I rarely put on, because being a veterinarian, I'm always in the field. There's never an opportunity to dress nicely. So we're always on casual clothing and more so protective clothing. But I packed this one specifically because I knew I was coming to defend my thesis after I'm done with my PhD program at UPI. But when this opportunity came, I knew this was the time to shine also. So just in case you missed the message, please note that I am on a nice coat. There's a good story that's told of a preacher who was given time to preach. And he carried a laptop like me. And the main reason he was giving for using the laptop and not print papers. He was saying he had too many pages and it was going to be more costly to print. So, be prepared. It could be have lots of slides, but take it from me, it's gonna be brief. The other thing that the same preacher was asked is not asked, it's actually the preacher who asked the audience that how long should I take of your time? And the audience answered, as the Spirit does what? Leads. Use much time as the Spirit leads. But the preacher said the last time the Spirit led, I think he used more than 3 hours. I am going to spend as much time as the Spirit leads, but I don't think it will be 3 hours. So take it from me. I'm buying time so that I gather enough courage to start. And welcome. I was reading randomly on exactly what to share with you people. And you can agree with me that it's really challenging to settle on a subject, especially if you have not gone through a theology setup. There's always temptation to share what you had somewhere, but also there's always temptation to search what could be new to the people. But a lot of the times you find what people may have encountered. The only thing that might change is the approach you give. But also, you find yourself repeating. But one thing I realized, the Word of God is always fresh every other month. Some verses are read, and you find that like you are hearing them for the first time. There's this lady called Crosby. You may not know the lady, but I'm very sure you have heard or even sung her songs. She was born in the US in March 24th, 1820. She was born with a head deformity. I was trying to get some details about that, but it's very scanty. But the common head deformity that people have at the moment is, we call it hydrocephalus, where you have a little bit more than normal, bigger head. And it's because of some issues that, I would say developmental issues that happen, but no one is to blame, but that's the story for the lady. At 6 weeks of age, she lost her sight completely. Seeing for only 6 weeks. They say that those, a traditional way of treating eyesight problems, and it could be the person who attended to her made the condition worse at that time. But you know what she said? That the blindness can't keep the sunlight of hope from the trustful soul. This lady was amazing. Despite the problem she had all sense of humor and a very playful spirit. When a little girl, a lamb was given to her as a playmate. I see that around, that people with eyesight problems, they have dogs that help them, right? It could be this was a way to ensure that she get occupied. Unfortunately, when there was no food, the same lamb was slaughtered and eaten. She was not disappointed. She opted for another alternative of loving nature. And this time round, she went into rose garden, and she loved flowers. In fact, they say there was one flower in the middle of the garden that she was not allowed to pluck it. But whenever she made friends, she would always give them flowers. And she ended up plucking out that same flower that she was not allowed to do. She had an amazing memory. They say her mom used to read verses for her, and she would memorize them. In fact, think she literally memorized the whole Bible. Some of us struggle to get even one verse in our heads, and we have eyes. Someone who is blind had time and passion to have Bible in the soft copy. Her dad died actually when she was less than 1 year. That's a hard life. It's really difficult. Listening to that, it's really difficult. This amazing woman wrote her first poem when she was 9 years. And at age 15, some book says at age 11, I'm not so sure, she was admitted to the New York Institute for the Blind, where she finished her studies and was employed there as a faculty. And she taught in that same institute. She later got married to another blind man who was also working in that institute. They had a baby, but they lost the baby. But you know what? She lived for 94 years. She wrote thousands of songs and poems and books. What an amazing spirit. That woman is the one who wrote this song, Pass Me Not, O Gentle Savior. She's done many pieces of songs. And we've just sung this one. But I always reflect on the message carried in it. People write songs, poems, people who are driven by very deep thought. They have deep message. And looking at this song, she says, pass me not, O gentle Savior. Hear my humble cry, while on others thou art calling, do not pass me. She says, let me at thy throne of mercy find a sweet relief. In verse 3 she says, trusting only in thy merit would I seek thy face. She said, heal my wounded, broken spirit and save me by thy grace. That's heaviness. In the last verse she says, thou the spring of all my comfort, more than life to me. Whom have I on earth beside thee? Whom in heaven but thee? One day, she visited a friend, and that friend went into random play of the piano, the same way my brother was playing guitar behind there. And this lady went in. She just busted into a song that had never been written, and that was blessed assurance. We can do this together. I want to lead us. Is there a mic? No.
Where is it? 462.
Yes, 462. See ya.
Blessed assurance, Jesus is mine. Oh, what a foretaste of glory divine. Year of salvation, purchase of God, blood of His Spirit, washed in His blood. This is my story.
Bible and there's mention of places, I'm always curious to know the map and be able to connect with the current reality. And Israel is real. It's a country. And all places that are mentioned actually are there. In fact, some have been preserved as museums. And I think there's a lot of documentaries talking about the places. And I'm very sure if you visited the country, you will find the descendants of particular families. And so, the story as captured in the Bible is real. And I'm going to share one of the stories that actually was captured during Jesus' time, and that would be in Israel. And one day, after Jesus' ministry in Samaria, we know from Synoptic Gospel that he presents considerable time ministering in Galilee. And I was trying to look at the map. If you look here, is Galilee, this Samaria here, and we have Judea here. And you know, down here is Egypt. So those places are there, they exist. But now, John takes us back to Jerusalem. And Jerusalem is somewhere here. Somewhere there, and Jesus had been to Samaria. And this is where the place where there was a remarkable healing at the pool of the water. And this is where we are going to borrow a few lessons for today's Sabbath. In the book of John, as was read, we are going to focus book of John chapter 5 from verse 1 to 15, but we will always be reflecting on verses as we move along. Verse 2 says, now there is in Jerusalem near the sheep gate a pool which in Aramaic is called Bethesda. Bethesda, I don't know whether I'm pronouncing it right, and which is surrounded by 5 covered colonnades. Colonnades are mobile columns for those who have interacted with people who construct. And there's also a pool of water, and I have an image here. They say it was more of a trapezium, meaning the length are the same, but the width varies. And they give an estimate that one side was about 50 and the other one 60 meters, while the length, this should be the length, which is 96 meters. There's a partition in between here. And more, the northern pool actually was used as a reservoir that was used to replenish the water on the other chamber. The Bible in verse 3 says, here a great number of disabled people used to lie at that pool. The blind, the lame, and even the paralyzed. And they would wait for the moving of the waters, or the stirring of the water. From time to time, they say, an angel of the Lord will come down and stir up the waters. The first one who would jump into the pool after such disturbance would always be cured of whatever disease he or she had. This explanation of healing from an angel stirring up the waters was believed by many sick in that time, in that area. The stirring, you would all agree with me, must have had some physical cause. But that an angel troubled the water seems to have a very popular superstition at that time. I was trying to look into some writings as to whether there were people who were healed by dipping into the water, and it's not captured. So I'm not sure whether it was just a belief, if you get in, you'll get healed, and they will all keep waiting, or it is true that the first one who got in got healed. But the story is, it was a really popular belief in Israel at that time. And you can imagine people going to this pool of water and waiting for the startup while Jesus was healing people on the other side of the country. It tells you how people believe that pool. It would have been easier to just go. And for those who have read the Bible, there are those who went and they got healed, right? Verse 5 says, one who was there had been an invalid for 38 years. There was this man who had been there for 38 years. I'm not 38 years yet. And I want to imagine waiting by the pool for 38 years. It's not easy. I'm very sure there are those who went there during their youthful. They waited until they were old and left to be married or something. There are those who went there when they were toddlers, and they grew up to be strong and big men and women while waiting to be healed. So when Jesus saw him lying there and learned that he had been in this condition for a long time, he asked him, "Do you want to get well?" Verse 7 says, "Sir," the invalid replied, "I have no one to help me into the pool. When the water is stirred while I am trying to get in, someone else goes down ahead of me." Then Jesus said to him, "Get up, pick up your mat, and walk."
Amen.
At once, the man was cured,
Praise the Lord.
picked up his mat, and walked. We are not told of the man's problem. He's referred to as invalid. Some version says who had been ill. Some say had an infirmity. But the word in general is referring to a state of debilitating illness, sickness, or some chronic illness. I want to assume that he was not merely a lame guy, making his way on crutches, but I think he was paralyzed or something. Since he was lying on a mat and couldn't get into the water very easily by himself, that tells you how bad he was. I also want to think that he was not spending the nights there, and perhaps I would want to guess that maybe relatives and neighbors used to carry him there in the morning and probably pick him late in the evening. But during the day, the same relatives or friends who need to do or attend to their household chores or even do work to get food or something and support themselves. And so there was no one to be there to get him into the water when it gets dark. In verse 6, when Jesus saw him lying there and learned that he had been in this condition for long, he asked him, "Do you want to get well?" Just before that, they say Jesus sneaked. He actually left his disciples and all those people who were with him and kind of sneaked into that pool. And that's how he got to interact with these people. I pondered Jesus' question. I'm assuming Jesus really knew what was happening there. I was asking myself, why in the whole world would you ask a seriously ill person if he wants to get well? It's like asking a hungry person, like, do you need some food? Or you find someone walking by the roadside and it's freezing or chilly cold, and you ask, do you want a ride? Sometimes we find people in conditions that I think it speaks for itself. But I think Jesus wanted more than yes and no answer. He wanted to assess the desire and the faith of the man. Not all sick people really want to be healed or actually surrender their lives to Jesus. Even though that, I think, is what we perceive as the desire. I remember when my granddad was unwell, I took him. I was among those who took him to the hospital. And because of his progressed age, I don't know, it happened that the doctor who was attending to him at that time was a Christian. And he thought, with an advanced age, even if you recover of the current condition, your lifespan is almost coming to an end, right? That's the reality. And the doctor picked the Bible and started sharing with him. And I saw my granddad getting so much disinterested. Got so disinterested, and he was wondering, what's wrong with this man? All he wanted was injections, or diagnosis of the current problem, or referral to another hospital, if that was an option. Unfortunately, passed on. But the point remains, not all who are unwell, even if they are in deep pain, are interested in salvation at times. In verse 8, the Bible says, then Jesus said to him, get up, pick up your mat, and walk. And at once, the man was cured. He picked up his mat and walked. I was looking at that verse, and I was imagining the common thing we do when we find people in particular conditions. The thing is, we always make prayer, right? But these are commands that Jesus is making. I remember, he's the Son. He's making instructions. And this man got up, picked his mat, and left. Jesus commands him with a word of power. There's power in his commands. Some version says get up, some say stand up, some say rise. And we see those commands in some other verses in the Bible, and you can refer to them. Is the old man obedient to Jesus' command? That's a question for you. I'm not sure. But one thing I know, he certainly got on his feet at once, or almost immediately, picked up his mat and began to walk. The two other elements of the healing were to pick the mat and walk. The mat here could have been a bed or the couch, or perhaps the stretcher on which the friends used to carry him, or the one he used to lie on. The man for sure didn't need to be there any longer. So he took up his mat and began to walk home. that is where he got into trouble. But I think from this verse, many a times, I think we experience commands or instructions or communication from Jesus. But we are reluctant to heed. Even when you are talented, I know there are people in this church who have very powerful voice, and sometimes I admire. And when they're asked to sing, they are a bit reluctant. As you continue to read the verse 9 to 13, the day on which this took place was actually a Sabbath. And this takes us to why the man got into the trouble. And so the Jews said to the man who had been healed, "It is the Sabbath. The law forbids you to carry your mat." And that was the rule then. That was the rule then. You can imagine meeting a man carrying a mat and it's not allowed. It's difficult unless he narrates to you that he had been to the pool for 38 years and it was good time to pack his things and get back home. You wouldn't know. So of course the intent was that God's people should rest on Sabbath and not pursue their normal work. And so it was allowable to carry a man on a bed on the Sabbath, but not to carry a bed without the man on it. And that's why in verse 11 says, "But he replied, 'The man who made me well said to me, pick up your mat and walk.' So they asked him, who is this fellow who told you to pick it up and walk?" The man who was healed had no idea who it was. For Jesus had slipped away into the crowd that was there. It's really interesting. But someone heals you, you get up and disappear, and you don't even bother to know the man. Interesting story. It's interesting that he even didn't learn Jesus' name. You would think that he would have been exceedingly grateful and thankful to Jesus. But apparently, his only thought was his own healing. He didn't turn to Jesus with thanksgiving. Just speak these things and vanished into the thin air. In verse 14, the Bible says, "Later Jesus found him at the temple and said to him, 'See, you are well again. Stop sinning, or something worse may happen to you.' The man went away and told the Jews that it was Jesus who had made him." In verse 15, he was kind of reporting that the man who healed me is now here. And it's interesting that Jesus actually spoke to the man in the temple and not the other way around. There are good things that we do that you would expect that the person or the beneficiary would easily note the person who did it. But it's different here. But you know what? Jesus went to the man and even reminded him to stop. And that, to me, looked like the condition the man was in was actually a consequence or a result of sin. And so the best way of not getting into that condition was perhaps not to sin again. Both John the Baptist and Jesus preached a lot. And they even statement said, and repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand, as written in Matthew chapter 3. It is very clear that repentance from sin is necessary to believe in Christ. This to me doesn't mean that we don't sometimes fall into sin, that we are not sometimes rebellious, that we don't need continual forgiveness purchased at a great cost by the sacrifice of Jesus Christ for our sins. We do, but we must repent from a lifestyle of sin.
Amen.
The story of the healing of the man at the pool is all of grace. The man didn't deserve it. In fact, he wasn't a very good man to start with. But it's about repentance also. And sometimes we find ourselves in situations that you find yourself like you don't deserve it. You are in continuous illness and all you think of, you just want to die. I've found people who just want to exit. Exit to where? Jesus wants us to have eternal life. It follows that if we can now see, then we now avoid the things we used to be blind to and blunder into. As I conclude, there are a few lessons that I want us to pick from this story. Let us not give up. I'm very sure if each one of us was to give this story, you would be surprised. The one you thought was your worst story is better than your friend's story. This man was by the pool of water for 38 years. Some of us have only been unwell for less than 10 years. I've only been unwell for just 1 week. We are even scared with this corona thing. We don't know how it's unfolding. I was telling friends that I'm not scared of the flu itself because I've had it several times. But I'm not sure whether I'll come out of it alive. That becomes a human worry. But you know what? All of us want to go to heaven someday. We will for sure have to exit our current status. Be it through corona or other means, we will join our Jesus someday. These troubles are temporary. Your miracle is independent of anybody. When asked whether he wanted to get well, the man was quick to give excuses. Oh, there's no one to take me to the pool, there's no one to do this. We find ourselves in this many times. If you have children or grandchildren, they've all gone and moving on with their lives, and you sometimes find yourself so stuck. Or if you have a partner, and God forbid, you are not together at that time, you find yourself like your life has stopped. Miracle comes to you and you on at the right time. And God appointed time will never fail. He will surely come. We many times make prayers, and you find that it doesn't go too long to respond. But once he puts it in his diary, he will surely come. Let not allow our troubles to weaken our spirit. Let it not weaken our desire for Christ. We should yearn to have more of it. Even in our deep pains, deep troubles, those are the moments to wait for Jesus to come. For sure, sin causes sickness. We sometimes go through pains, but we may be the cause of those pains. We've so much become victim of our modern life. And it's really a painful truth that we've become slaves of our modern life. And even coming to church sometimes is an option. We treat it as optional. Depends on how you wake up. If you fast, left leg gets to the floor, that's not a church today. You wait for the day when you wake up with the right leg on the floor fast. I think we should make a deliberate decision that this is the life we want to live. This is the path we want to follow. And let's retain the focus. And when Jesus comes knocking and tells us to get up, pick our mat, and walk, let's do that. Jesus Christ is the only way, the truth, and life. Meet him today and accept him as your Lord and personal Savior. I choose to meet him today.